Hi, welcome to Mic Drop, Insights and Lessons from CI Thought Leaders. My name is Gary Cox. I am your host. I'm also the author of the book, Cultivating Champions of CI, a Leader's Toolbox for Creating a Continuous Improvement Culture. This is episode 3 of my conversation with Mike Haley from Landmark Decisions. Mike and I have already talked a little bit about the digital twin of an organization, or DTO, and last time we were together, we went through the 8 steps to build it. I asked Mike about some of the examples of the applications, because a lot of people think this is just for manufacturing, and it's not. It has a wide range of applications, and Mike is going to talk to us a little bit about those. So welcome back again, Mike.
Thank you, Gary.
So should we jump into it? Let's kind of talk a little bit about some of the applications, maybe some of the examples. I know you've kind of got the different types of industries that this fits into and who can use it.
Yep. Well, what's interesting, I mean, digital twin, we may have said this in our first episode, it's been around as a concept for over 20 years now. DTO as a subset of kind of the broader digital twin is really only become popular in the last 6 or 7 years. Wow. However, we've been applying these concepts, which we called business modeling back in the day per se, for many, many years. So the organizational aspect of digital twin and bringing in all the different facets of the business is really key from getting that holistic perspective and so on. So I'll just share a couple slides here just to give you.
And while you're doing that, I mean, this is you talk about being recent, the last 6 years, it's really taken up an uptake. Yep. Gartner had a pretty big push on the value of creating digital twins, did they not?
Yeah, no, absolutely. They analyzed the future market. Actually, this year's what's called a technology impact radar, they do every year about which technology is going to have the maximum impact on business. No surprise, this year would be AI, of course.
Yeah, AI.
But
sure.
The next biggest trend, technology-wise, is digital twins. And they're expecting this to grow to like a $60 billion market by 2031. Wow. And DTO as a subset of that is the largest of the 3 types of digital twins and so on. So yeah, it's becoming more and more popular, more and more used and so on. So let me just share some of the stuff that we've done with our partners over the last few years, but even back further than that. And so you can see here, just as far as the application of these principles, it cuts across any industry. Really all business, is driven by business processes. So it doesn't matter if you're in the public sector or you're the service industry or you're in manufacturing, you've got processes you're trying to optimize. I mean,
I totally agree. I mean, I tell everybody, everything's a process. Getting up and going to work in the morning is a process.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I don't want a digital twin in my house, but
Well, no, I mean, your lean work, and you've worked across all of these industries as well and things like that. So, and normally these DTOs, I mean, again, back to episode 2, begin with the end in mind and setting your strategic assessment. Usually you're going to have, some strategic insights that are gained, some operational insights, some financial insights. Most likely you're going to have all 3 of those, but usually start with kind of what is the main focus of that. So I'm going to talk about 3 specific examples here today. One with Crosby Foods over in St. John, New Brunswick. People may recognize them as Crosby's molasses.
I think that's probably what I'm most famous for. But they do a dry goods stuff around the drink crystals too and things, don't they?
Yeah, they do their own drink crystals. They co-manufacture for many of the large food retailers. So they embarked on a journey with us, one of our partners, a few years back, and I'll just talk you through that, and then I'll go on to talk about some work we did actually with one of your colleagues at Barrington, Gary, at Passport Canada. And then we have another partner in Montreal that worked with a Quebec-based company called AgriLay. And what their focus was more on the financial side and so on. So
let's jump in. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So let me just kind of set the stage for Crosby Foods. So again, as mentioned, they're a very diverse manufacturing and co-manufacturing facility. Have 10 production lines, so they break their products into dry products and wet products. So and this is very typical. I talked about this in episode 2. Start with a pilot project. So what they did is they zoomed in on these 2 production lines that make their drink crystals. And basically, we train and coach and support their team. And we generally recommend to have a team of kind of 3 people at a minimum. So somebody out of operations, if they had a continuous improvement team, so the manager from there attended, and then also somebody from finance that can provide that financial perspective on the DTO.
That's especially important for that like I said, those first couple of the 8 steps, those first few steps. You need
correct.
Yeah.
So they typically, the team will go through some training, understand the concepts, and then we're one of our partners will coach them in the development of that pilot project, which can be done in a very short period of time, 6 to 8 weeks. We actually target for that. We want to make sure we get something done quickly, get actionable results in a short time frame to build momentum, to build support across the organization. After that pilot, they went on with a little bit of coaching to kind of finish their whole dry products, which included this whole hot chocolate line, which is a big component of their business. That's for that large multinational that I mentioned. And so there were a lot of complexities, a lot of packaging configurations, a lot of different flavors and so on that had to be. So, they continued to learn and understand what a DTO, how to build it and how to benefit from it. And then by that time, within 4 to 5 months, they were self-sufficient and went and kind of did their wet products, i.e. the molasses, which they're known for, and completed that. So literally within about a half a year, this was over a summer period too. So within a half a year, they had a model of their whole entire operation. This included warehousing, supply chain, all the other facets of the plant management, supervision, all those components were in. Actually, I think we're going to put some links in. There's I think one of the links will have Gary has a little bit more detail on this if anyone's interested, and actually shows a little bit of the model as well. So once they got this model up, some of the benefits that they saw, they kind of opened their eyes to with regard to how production was being used, or probably more importantly, not used from a utilization point of view. They were able to make some configuration changes over on their hot chocolate lines that freed up about 160 active production hours a year to increase capacity. The other area was in the area of sanitation. Obviously, a food product, hygiene and sanitation, very critical. When they started looking at the overall time and effort and when and how it was being done, and also the cost of doing that kind of got them thinking about different ways, and they freed up another few hundred hours of production by changing the sanitation routines while maintaining the compliance standards and so on. And then from a strategic point of view, they started looking and say, one of the activities that they said that we're doing a lot of paper, we're moving a lot of collecting a lot of data, the quality control, all of that. And so they put a business case to justify, well, if we didn't have to do that, if we could automate some of this, what would the financial impact be on labor savings? So they were able to justify investment in a management information system.
And again, that's a manufacturing example. I think most people, when they think of digital twins, think of a manufacturing example. I know, you did some work with our team in Passport Canada, dealing with some of the challenges that they had, and that's very much a transactional. It's a different type of application.
Yeah, no, Passport. I'll come off there and we'll just talk about Passport, because I'm sure many of your Canadian viewers will remember the pain we probably all went through at the post-pandemic. Bottom line is there was 2 2 years, nobody was traveling, basically.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, when the travel restrictions were lifted, everybody, oh, my passport's expired.
Passport.
Or I've had children that I need to travel with in the last 2 years. I need a new passport and so on. So when the volume came, there just wasn't the capacity to do that. So they need to hire people and train people and so on. So we created digital twin models to show the impact of resourcing on the output demands. Now, most people think, well, yeah, there's probably 3 types of passport. I can do a renewal, I can get a new passport as an adult, or I can get a new passport as a child. There's different criteria for those. But when we started digging in, we did a workload analysis. We looked at kind of the frontline workers, the clerical, the citizen service officers, the passport officers, and what they did. We quickly recognized that there was a degree of complexity within each of those types of passports. And they hadn't really accurately modeled the impact of resource on the complexity factors. So by getting into the process and looking at the key things around, what was driving that extra work on a child passport, for example, drilling into all of that process, we did lean value stream mapping. We modeled that. We did the activity-based planning. And one of the cool things we did is we looked at what's the impact as they bring new people in and they go through the training sequence as they move up. So, hey, when you move into a new role, you're probably not going to be as efficient as somebody that's been there 5 years. How do you model that lower efficiency factor? And how do you juggle this across these different labor pools and so on?
Yeah. And you had a third example. You talked about the one in
Quebec. Yeah. So we work with a partner out of Montreal called Optima Management. And they had a client in the dairy industry. It's called Agrilait. The brand name is Singulièrement Fromagerie. Excuse my French, poor French. Anyways, they're one of Quebec's largest producers of, surprise, surprise, poutine cheese or cheddar curds. They also make all the other kind of cheeses and so on, but a very wide range of products, a very wide range of pack configurations. And they needed to get more detailed, more activity-based type costing into their operation to get to the true cost, fully loaded cost of all of the different products from a pricing and profitability point of view. So they were able to create these DTO models that kind of manage the process of how cheeses were made, cured, cut, packaged, and so on. And got very good resolution now, so they know where their winners and their losers are.
And that's sort of the key to business, right? Focus on your winners and drop your losers, or sell them to your competitors.
Exactly right. You got it.
Listen, this has been really good. I gotta call out one thing before I let you go. Is that a talking fish on the wall over there in the back behind you?
This guy?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't. He did actually talk at one time. So yeah, just a little funny story. That actually was a. I don't know, Gary, you're a golfer. You maybe have done the 3-putt hat. Have you ever done the 3-putt hat?
No.
So the last person in your team who 3-putts has to wear the hat.
Oh, so, right, yeah. No, we used to use one of those visor, which was you just didn't want to wear it. Yeah.
Well, imagine wearing this one. Anyways, this every year you can see underneath it became a trophy. So we've been running this golf tournament for 25 years, and basically it got too big to wear on your head, so we turned it into a trophy. So I think I was the last winner. So that's why.
I was expecting it to turn and talk to me there. So listen, Mike, we're going to put your contact information in the discussion here. If you've liked what you've heard from Mike and I today, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We'd make a comment. We'd love to hear what you're thinking about this whole idea of a digital twin. Have you got one? Does it intrigue you? Whatever. Well, we're happy to respond to your comments as well. So again, thank you for watching, and thanks again, Mike, and really appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Always great to work with you, Gary.